Did you know that one simple shower habit, something you do every single day without thinking, could quietly raise your risk of a stroke overnight? You might go to bed feeling fine, but wake up unable to speak, unable to move one side of your body, or unable to remember your own name. It sounds impossible, even unbelievable. But as a brain doctor who's treated hundreds of stroke patients, I've seen this hidden danger unfold too many times, not in people who smoke or eat junk food or ignore their health, but in seniors who believed their daily routines were harmless. The truth is, your shower, the place you feel most relaxed, most refreshed, can become the most dangerous room in your home after 60. The heat, the steam, the timing, even the way you move, they can all quietly strain your heart, confuse your circulation, and trigger strokes or form deadly blood clots while you sleep. No one ever warns you, but your body feels it every day. So before you step into the shower tomorrow, stay with me, because I'm going to reveal 7 everyday shower habits that could be silently threatening your brain and your life. And I promise, what you'll learn in the next few minutes might just save it. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Taking a hot shower first thing in the morning. If you're over 60, that steamy morning shower you've enjoyed for years might be quietly turning into a silent danger, one that can trigger a stroke before you even realize what's happening, as I've seen it far too many times in my patients. You wake up early, feeling fine, your joints stiff, your muscles cold, and your mind foggy. The idea of stepping into that warm, comforting stream feels almost medicinal. But for the aging body, for arteries that have lost their youthful elasticity, for a heart that doesn't pump quite as forcefully, and for a brain that depends on steady blood flow, that sudden rush of heat can set off a dangerous chain reaction inside your body. When the hot water hits your skin, your blood vessels expand rapidly in an effort to release heat. It's the body's natural reflex, one that works beautifully in youth. But in older adults, this dilation happens faster than the heart and brain can adjust. The sudden drop in blood pressure that follows can briefly starve the brain of oxygen. You might feel lightheaded, dizzy, or see black spots for a second. In that instant, blood flow becomes unstable. Some vessels overexpand, others constrict sharply to compensate, and that uneven pressure can damage fragile arterial walls. And when that happens, your blood tries to repair the tiny tears it senses. It does that by forming small clots, the body's band-aid. But inside the wrong artery, that clot becomes deadly. I remember a patient of mine, Mr. Harold Jenkins, a 74-year-old retired mechanic from Iowa. He'd been healthy, independent, and proud of it. Every morning, he'd wake at dawn, pour a cup of black coffee, and step into a shower hot enough to steam the mirror. One January morning, his wife heard a loud thump. When she found him, he was conscious but unable to move his right side. The emergency scan showed a small clot lodged in his left middle cerebral artery, a stroke. His blood pressure had dropped sharply from the sudden heat, then surged back when his body tried to stabilize. That violent swing in circulation created the perfect storm: thickened blood, fragile arteries, and a clot that formed and traveled to his brain. It wasn't the shower itself that hurt him, it was the shock it gave his aging cardiovascular system. Hot showers raise your heart rate, increase blood flow to the skin, and pull blood away from the core organs, including the brain. In a younger person, those systems recover in seconds. In someone past 60, especially with high blood pressure diabetes, or medication that slows heart rate, the adjustment is slower, sometimes too slow. The brain goes without enough oxygen for just a few seconds. And if a clot forms during that imbalance, it can block blood flow completely. That's when it happens: the stroke, the collapse, the speech that suddenly won't come out. For older adults, the risk is highest in the morning when your body is cold, blood pressure is at its lowest, and your vessels haven't yet warmed up for the day. The shock of heat acts like flipping a switch your body isn't ready for. If you've ever stepped out of the shower with your heart pounding, your head spinning, or your vision dimming for a moment, that's not harmless. That's your brain begging for oxygen, a silent warning you should never ignore. So here's what I tell my patients: warm up slowly, don't rush into the heat. Start with lukewarm water, breathe deeply, and let your body acclimate before turning it warmer. Hold on to a stable handle when you first step in. And if you take blood pressure medication, make sure you're hydrated and steady before starting your shower. Because sometimes what feels like comfort can quietly become chaos inside your body. And if this surprised you, wait until you hear what happens when you stand up too quickly in the shower. It's even more dangerous than the heat itself. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Standing up too quickly after sitting or bending in the shower. Most people think a quick movement in the shower is harmless. Just standing up after washing your feet, bending to pick up the soap, or reaching for the towel. But for older adults, that one simple movement can quietly trigger a chain reaction that ends in tragedy. You might not realize it, but in those few seconds when you straighten your body too fast, your brain is suddenly starved of blood and oxygen. The world blurs, your heart races, your balance slips, and before you know it, you're either on the floor or fighting to stay conscious. I've seen it happen more times than I can count, and for some, that fleeting dizzy spell was the start of a life-changing stroke. Here's what really happens inside your body. When you sit, kneel, or bend in the shower, gravity pulls blood toward your lower body, your legs, your feet. In a healthy, younger system, when you stand, your blood vessels and heart respond instantly, tightening just enough to push blood back to your brain. But after 60, this reflex, called the baroreceptor response, becomes weaker. The heart takes a moment longer to react, and the vessels don't constrict fast enough. The result? Your blood pressure plunges. It's called orthostatic hypotension, and it's one of the leading hidden triggers of dizziness, fainting, and strokes among seniors. Now, imagine this happening in a steamy, slippery shower when the air is hot and your body is already relaxed from the warmth. The heat itself dilates your blood vessels, making the drop in pressure even worse. Your heart, now suddenly deprived of oxygenated blood returning from the legs, begins to overwork, beating harder and faster. This abrupt strain can cause your circulation to become unstable. Blood that was flowing smoothly becomes turbulent. In those chaotic moments, small clots can form in the narrowed or stiffened arteries of older adults. And when that clot breaks loose, it travels upward towards your brain, where it can block a vital artery and trigger a stroke. I'll never forget Mrs. Ellen Parker, one of my patients, an 82-year-old retired librarian from Indiana. She was careful about everything, took her medications on time, kept her home spotless, and followed every doctor's order. But one morning, while showering, she bent down to wash her feet, then stood up quickly to rinse her hair. She felt the room spin for a split second, grabbed the shower rod, and then collapsed. Her daughter found her minutes later, conscious but unable to move her left arm. In the hospital, scans revealed a small ischemic stroke. Her blood pressure had crashed from the sudden movement, then spiked back sharply as her body tried to recover. That fluctuation, that instability, caused a tiny clot to form and lodge in her brain's right hemisphere. Ellen's story isn't rare. It happens silently, without warning, in thousands of bathrooms across America each year. Many seniors brush off those dizzy spells, calling them just getting up too fast, without realizing those seconds are their brain's emergency alarm, a cry for help before something irreversible occurs. The sad truth is that most of these strokes don't happen because of major accidents or illnesses. They happen from moments that feel ordinary, familiar, even routine. So, what can you do? Move slowly. When you've been bending, pause before standing. Let the blood settle. Give your heart time to catch up. Hold a sturdy grab bar until you feel steady. And if you often feel dizzy after standing, talk to your doctor. It could mean your medications or hydration levels need adjusting. Because one careless movement, 1 second of rushing, can set off the perfect storm inside your body. Your blood pressure crashes, your heart misfires, your blood thickens, and it triggers strokes. It forms blood clots, all in the blink of an eye. But as frightening as that sounds, there's another daily habit that's even more deceptive, one that feels completely safe, yet can quietly rob your brain of oxygen every single morning. You'll want to hear this next one because it happens right after you eat. 3. Showering right after a heavy meal or medication. For many older adults, a warm shower after breakfast or dinner feels like the perfect way to relax. A moment of comfort after a meal, a habit built over decades. But as a brain doctor, I need to tell you the truth. Most people never hear. Taking a shower too soon after eating or right after your medication can quietly put your life at risk. It sounds harmless, doesn't it? You've just eaten, your stomach is full, you feel calm, and the hot water seems inviting. Yet inside your body, something dangerous is happening. A silent tug of war for blood between your stomach, your heart, and your brain. Here's what's really going on beneath the surface. After a meal, especially one rich in carbohydrates or fat, your digestive system demands a huge share of your blood flow. Your arteries widen to send more oxygen to your stomach and intestines to process that food. This is called postprandial vasodilation. It's normal, but when you step into a warm shower during that time, the heat causes your skin vessels to expand even more, pulling additional blood away from your brain. That double drain, one from digestion, one from heat, leaves your brain temporarily undersupplied with oxygen. For a younger body, it's a mild adjustment. For someone over 60 with slower reflexes, narrower vessels, or blood pressure medication in the mix, it's the perfect storm. The result can be terrifyingly fast. Your blood pressure drops, your heart struggles to compensate, and your brain is suddenly deprived of oxygen rich blood. You feel lightheaded, your vision dims, maybe you grab for the wall. And in those few seconds of chaos, blood thickens, circulation slows, and microclots begin to form in the narrow vessels that feed your brain. Those clots can remain silent for hours, floating until one finds its way into a critical artery. Then, without warning, it blocks the flow. It triggers strokes. It forms blood clots. And in an instant, the very habit that once soothed you becomes the reason you can no longer speak or stand. One of my patients, Mr. Paul Henderson, age 78, from Kansas, learned this the hard way. Every evening after dinner, he took his medications for blood pressure and cholesterol, waited 10 minutes, and stepped into a hot shower before bed. He believed it helped him sleep. One night, his wife found him sitting on the shower floor, barely conscious. His blood pressure had dropped to dangerous levels, and scans later showed a small ischemic stroke in his cerebellum. the part of the brain that controls balance. The doctors confirmed what I feared. The combination of his medications, digestion, and the heat from the shower had disrupted his circulation so severely that a clot formed during the recovery phase and traveled straight to his brain. This isn't rare. It's common, frighteningly common, and few people talk about it. Seniors often take medications like beta blockers, ACE inhibitors, or diuretics, which alter how the body handles blood pressure and fluid balance. Add a meal and the heat of a shower, and your cardiovascular system simply can't keep up. You might not faint, but the drop in brain blood flow still damages tiny vessels over time, increasing your stroke risk silently day after day. So, what can you do? Give your body time. Wait at least 45 to 60 minutes after eating or taking medication before you shower. Let your blood pressure stabilize and your digestion settle. Stay hydrated. Water keeps your blood from becoming thick and sticky. And never take a hot shower immediately after a large meal, no matter how comforting it feels. Because what starts as a soothing routine can become a deadly misstep. Inside your body, the blood you worked so hard to keep flowing smoothly can suddenly turn against you, pooling, thickening, clotting, until the brain you've spent a lifetime protecting is left gasping for oxygen. And if you think heat and digestion are a bad combination, wait until you learn what happens when that heat turns into cold and your body faces the shock of icy water it was never built to handle. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Cold shock showers or sudden temperature switches. In recent years, you've probably heard younger people talk about cold plunges, ice showers, or contrast therapy, quick blasts of freezing water said to boost circulation and energy. Maybe you've even tried ending your shower with cold water because someone told you it's good for your heart. But if you're over 60, this so-called healthy trend could quietly become one of the most dangerous habits you can have in your own bathroom. What many don't realize is that a sudden change in water temperature, especially from warm to cold, can send your aging heart, arteries, and brain into a state of shock that can trigger strokes and form deadly blood clots within seconds. When icy water hits your skin, your body reacts instantly. The blood vessels in your arms, legs, and skin tighten sharply to preserve heat, while your heart begins to race, pumping harder to push blood through the narrowed arteries. Your blood pressure surges, sometimes doubling in just moments. For a young, healthy body, this stress response is uncomfortable but manageable. For an older adult with stiffer arteries, reduced elasticity, or plaque buildup, that sudden spike is like a lightning bolt through fragile wiring. The walls of those aging vessels can't stretch fast enough, and microscopic tears can form. Those tiny injuries are the perfect places for clots to begin as the body rushes to seal the damage. It's nature's repair system, but in the brain, those repairs can kill. As the cold hits, your breathing also changes. You gasp, it's instinctive, and often you hold your breath without realizing it. That brief breath hold decreases oxygen to the brain just when your body is under stress. Blood thickens as the vessels constrict, circulation slows in the smaller capillaries, and oxygen-starved tissue becomes vulnerable. This is when the danger peaks. For seniors already taking blood pressure medications or blood thinners, that sudden constriction can cause the delicate balance of your circulatory system to collapse. A clot that was sitting harmlessly in a leg vein can dislodge, travel upward, and lodge in the brain. 1 second you're invigorated by the cold, the next your hand won't move, your speech slurs, or you find yourself sinking to the floor. I'll never forget Mr. Robert Miles, a 70-year-old retired firefighter from Colorado. He had spent his whole life believing in strength and endurance. After watching a TV segment about cold therapy, he decided to end his daily showers with 30 seconds of icy water. The first few days, he said he felt alive, but one morning, his wife heard a crash. She found him sitting against the tub, his lips pale, unable to speak. The hospital scan showed a transient ischemic attack, a mini stroke. His blood pressure had spiked from the shock, then plummeted as his body tried to recover, creating perfect conditions for a small clot to form. The very habit he believed was making him stronger had instead left him weak and trembling. For the aging brain and heart, stability is life. Sudden extremes, whether heat or cold, are the enemy. Your vessels need gentle flow, not shock therapy. If you love a refreshing rinse, keep it mild, lukewarm at best. Gradually adjust the temperature and always monitor how your body feels. Cold water therapy may be fine for a 30-year-old athlete, but for a 70-year-old taking medication for blood pressure or heart rhythm, it's playing with fire in the form of ice. Because inside your chest, that icy shock isn't strengthening you. It's testing the limits of vessels already doing their best to survive. And when they fail, the result isn't energy or vitality. It's chaos in the bloodstream, where thickened blood and fragile arteries collide, and it triggers strokes. It forms blood clots, and it can steal everything you've worked to protect in an instant. And if this cold shock scares you, wait until you hear about the next shower mistake, one that feels harmless, even routine, but slowly dries out your brain from the inside out before you ever realize what's happening. 5. Neglecting hydration before showering. For most older adults, stepping into the shower is such a routine part of the day that we rarely think twice about what's happening inside our bodies before the water even touches our skin. But what many seniors don't realize is that the moment you turn that shower knob, you may already be in a state of mild dehydration. And that quiet, hidden dehydration can set off a deadly chain reaction that can trigger strokes and form dangerous blood clots without any warning at all. After the age of 60, the body's thirst signals grow weaker. You might not feel thirsty, but your body is often running low on water, especially in the morning after a night's sleep, or if you take medications such as diuretics or blood pressure pills that draw fluid out of your system. When you're even slightly dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker, heavier, and moves through your arteries more slowly. Your heart has to push harder, and your vessels, already stiffer with age, resist that pressure. Then, when you step into a warm shower, the heat causes you to lose even more fluid through sweat and open pores. In just minutes, your blood volume drops further, circulation slows, and the risk of clotting rises sharply. That thick, sluggish blood can silently create the perfect conditions for a stroke. The slower your blood moves, the more likely it is to stick, to pool, to form tiny clots inside narrow arteries, clots that can break loose and travel upward to the brain. And once they reach those delicate cerebral vessels, they block the very oxygen your brain cells depend on. It doesn't take hours or days. It can happen in moments. One dizzy spell, one brief blackout, one stumble in the shower, and everything changes. I'll never forget Mr. Howard Larkin, an 82-year-old retired postal worker from Indiana. He believed he was doing everything right. Every morning, he'd rise early, take his heart medications, and head straight for a long, hot shower before breakfast. But what he didn't realize was that his medications, particularly the water pill his doctor prescribed for mild heart failure, were slowly draining him of hydration. One morning, after his usual shower, Howard felt dizzy. When he tried to grab a towel, his knees buckled. He fell hard, and by the time his wife reached him, he couldn't speak clearly. The scans later revealed a small ischemic stroke, the kind caused by a blood clot blocking a vessel deep inside the brain. His lab test told the story. Concentrated hemoglobin, thickened blood, and low plasma volume, classic signs of dehydration. His stroke didn't come from his diet, his age, or his blood pressure. It came from the simple fact that his body didn't have enough water to keep his blood flowing freely. The hot shower only made things worse, pulling water away from his organs and thickening his blood further. What began as an ordinary morning routine became the silent moment that changed his life forever. That's why I tell every senior I treat, before you shower, drink water. Just half a glass can make a difference. It replenishes what your medications and sleep have drained away, helps your heart pump smoothly, and keeps your brain safely oxygenated. Because your blood is the river that feeds your brain, and when that river runs dry, even for a short time, it doesn't just slow down. It triggers strokes, it forms blood clots, and it can rob you of your balance, your speech, or your memory before you even know what's happening. If you've ever stepped out of the shower feeling lightheaded, weak, or unusually tired, that's not just old age. It's your body warning you, quietly, urgently, that your brain is being starved of what it needs most. And if this hidden danger of dehydration surprises you, wait until you hear about the next mistake. It's something millions of seniors do every night, a habit that feels comforting but could be silently sabotaging your blood pressure and putting your brain at risk while you sleep. 6. Showering late at night before bed. It feels soothing, doesn't it? The house is quiet, the lights are low, and you step into a warm shower before slipping into bed. For many older adults, it's a cherished ritual, a way to unwind the body, calm the mind, and prepare for sleep. But what most seniors don't realize is that this peaceful nightly habit can quietly turn into one of the most dangerous moments of the day. The warmth, the timing, and the changes in your body's nighttime rhythms can combine in ways that trigger strokes and form blood clots while you sleep. Silently, without pain, without warning. As we age, our cardiovascular system changes dramatically. The arteries that once expanded and contracted easily now stiffen. The heart's rhythm slows, and blood pressure follows a natural dip during nighttime rest. It's called nocturnal hypotension. For a young body that's healthy, it allows the heart to rest. But for an older one, especially when mixed with blood pressure medications, diuretics, or heart drugs, it can dip too low. When you take a hot shower before bed, that heat causes your blood vessels to expand even further. Your heart rate increases, your blood redistributes toward the skin, and your internal temperature rises. Exactly the opposite of what your body is trying to do before sleep. As soon as you step out, your core temperature begins to fall rapidly. That sudden shift from heat to cooling confuses the body, causing temporary drops and surges in blood pressure. While you sleep, your circulation slows, and your blood thickens slightly from mild overnight dehydration. If you add widened blood vessels and low pressure to that mix, blood flow to the brain can falter. Cells that depend on constant oxygen supply are starved for minutes, sometimes hours. The next morning, you may wake up feeling groggy, dizzy, or off balance, the subtle signs of a transient ischemic attack or mini stroke. For some, the next step is far worse. The clot that formed in the night breaks free, travels upward, and blocks a vessel in the brain. In an instant, what started as a comforting bedtime shower triggers a stroke. It happens quietly, often while you're asleep, leaving you to wake up to slurred speech or a heavy arm that won't move. I remember Mrs. Clara Hughes, a 77-year-old retired choir director from North Carolina. Every evening after dinner, she took a long, hot shower before bed, believing it helped her sleep. Her husband found her one morning sitting at the edge of the bed, dazed and struggling to speak. The scans revealed a small but devastating posterior circulation stroke, the kind that affects balance and speech. Her doctors traced it back to her nighttime routine. The combination of warm showers, blood pressure medication, and low nighttime hydration. Her blood vessels had dilated too much before bed, her pressure had dropped too low during sleep, and her blood had thickened just enough to form a clot. That clot became the thief that stole her words. This story is not rare. It's the quiet danger of nighttime showers. The body, especially after 60, no longer tolerates such fluctuations gracefully. You may think the heat is relaxing your muscles, but your heart is straining to stabilize your circulation. You may think you're helping your sleep, but your blood vessels are working overtime, stretching and narrowing in confusion. Over time, this nightly imbalance can wear down your arteries, damage the vessel lining, and increase your long-term stroke risk even without obvious symptoms. So if you love your evening showers, adjust the timing. Shower earlier, at least 90 minutes before bed. Give your body time to cool gradually and stabilize before lying down. Keep the water warm, not hot, and sip a small glass of water afterward to restore hydration. Your brain depends on that balance more than you know, because as comforting as that nighttime shower feels, it can quietly rewrite your body's rhythm. And it triggers strokes, it forms blood clots, and it can change your life between the moment you close your eyes and the moment you wake. And if you think temperature and timing are your biggest threats, wait until you discover the hidden killer inside the bathroom itself, the invisible hazard that lurks beneath your feet every single day. 7. Ignoring bathroom safety and temperature changes. Every year in the United States, thousands of seniors are rushed to the emergency room because of accidents that happen in the bathroom. Slips, sudden collapses, and unexplained fainting spells. But what most people don't realize is that these aren't just accidents. They're medical events, warning signs of a body pushed past its limits. As a brain doctor, I've seen it too often. A single misstep, a sudden chill, a hard fall, and within minutes the brain begins to suffer the consequences. You see, the bathroom may look harmless, but for the aging body, it's a battlefield of hidden dangers where one mistake can trigger strokes, form blood clots, and steal away independence in an instant. When you step into the bathroom, the first thing your body faces is temperature change. You leave your warm bedroom or living room and enter a cooler, tiled space where the air feels sharp against your skin. For a younger body, it's nothing, but for older adults whose blood vessels no longer adapt quickly, that sudden chill can constrict arteries in seconds. Your heart beats faster to compensate, pumping harder against tightened vessels. Then, just as your body begins to adjust, you turn on the shower, and warm steam fills the air. Suddenly, your vessels expand, your blood pressure drops, and your circulation shifts dramatically. It's a roller coaster for your cardiovascular system. The aging heart can't always handle these rapid swings, and in the struggle to rebalance, tiny tears can form in the lining of blood vessels, the first step toward a clot. Then there's the floor, wet, slippery, and unforgiving. A simple slip might seem like the biggest danger, but what truly worries me as a neurologist isn't just the fall. It's what happens when an older person jerks, twists, or hits their head or neck. The impact can tear the delicate arteries that feed the brain, a condition called arterial dissection. It doesn't always show symptoms immediately. Hours or even days later, the damaged vessel can begin to clot. That clot travels upward, and when it reaches the brain, the results are catastrophic. I've treated patients who went to bed after just a fall in the shower, only to wake up unable to move one side of their body. They didn't realize that the trauma inside their neck had already started a ticking clock toward stroke. I think often of Mr. Thomas Reynolds, a proud 79-year-old veteran from Ohio. He slipped while reaching for his towel, caught himself with a sudden twist of his neck, and brushed it off as nothing. 2 days later, he felt a strange numbness in his arm, then collapsed. The scan showed a clot from a torn artery in his neck, a direct result of that moment in the bathroom. His fall didn't just bruise his pride, it altered the rest of his life. For seniors, even small changes in the bathroom can mean the difference between safety and tragedy. Keep the air temperature steady, around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Use non-slip mats, grab bars, and bright lighting. Never rush, never step into a shower when dizzy, and never twist your body suddenly, because one moment of imbalance, one drop in blood pressure, or one awkward fall can set off a deadly sequence inside your body. Your blood thickens, your vessels tear, your heart struggles, and it triggers strokes. It forms blood clots, silently, mercilessly, in the very place meant to keep you clean and calm. And now that you've seen these 7 hidden shower dangers, you might be wondering, what can you do to stay safe, protect your brain, and still enjoy the comfort of your daily routine? The answer isn't fear, it's wisdom. In the final part, I'll show you exactly how to shower smarter, strengthen your circulation, and protect your brain for years to come. Final reflection: the truth about shower habits and the aging brain. After decades of treating stroke survivors, I've learned one painful truth. Most strokes don't happen out of nowhere. They are quietly built, one small habit at a time. For older adults, even something as innocent as a daily shower can become a hidden test of survival. Hot water that drops your pressure too low, sudden cold that spikes it too high, dehydration that thickens your blood, and nighttime routines that confuse your body's rhythm. These are not harmless quirks of aging. They are triggers. They trigger strokes. They form blood clots, and they steal the very independence you've spent a lifetime protecting. But here's the good news. Awareness changes everything. You don't have to fear your shower. You simply have to respect it. Start your day slowly. Stay hydrated. Keep the temperature moderate, not extreme. Move carefully, hold steady surfaces, and never rush. These small acts of caution can protect your brain, your balance, and your future far more than any supplement or therapy ever could. Your brain is the command center of who you are, your memories, your voice, your will to live. It listens to every heartbeat, every fluctuation in your blood flow, every shock your body endures, so be gentle with it. A safe shower isn't just about avoiding a fall. It's about keeping the river of life flowing steadily through your mind and soul. And remember, at this stage in life, strength isn't about how much you can endure. It's about how wisely you protect yourself from what you no longer need to. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.